छोड़ देगी सरकारी बस ना।
Okay, welcome back to session. Okay, hope I'm audible and you are able to see the screen as well. So while doing excavation, we have to verify all the underground utilities and those has to be isolated. Then we have to start the excavation. Okay. So if it is necessary, isolation of underground utility as we discussed is required. And also no load or vehicle or material should be stored on the or removed or stacking near the edge of the excavation unless shoring or piling is done to prevent the site of collapse. So we should not store any material, we should not allow any heavy vehicle to pass near the excavator. All the support work such as probes or the winches, etc., should be regularly checked for the deflection or restoration. All the sites should be fenced by the barrier at least up to 1 meter, and also the danger notice or red signal at the light to be provided. So in case of nights, sometimes the deep excavations happens there. We have to provide the hard barricade to avoid the fall of people, and also the signal lights has to be kept around so that it will be visible for the truck drivers or the vehicle drivers who approaches near to the excavation beds. The cutting shall be done from the top to bottom and no undercutting or side wall shall be allowed. In narrow trenches, a ladder should be extended from the boom to the top of at least 1 meter above and also the ground surface. Erosion of the soil over excavated pits, trenches, etc. should be prevented from the running water by the dewatering the pumps. So generally, we should not do any undercutting. Sometimes what will happen, they will do the excavation and from the bottom they try to remove the soil. So there will be a chance of collapse. So we should not allow that. In case a narrow excavation, there we use the ladder for the reaching the bottom of the excavation. So there we have to use the ladders. It must be extended 1 meter above the excavator bit. It is not about only excavation. Whenever you are using a ladder to land any further level, at least the ladder should extend 1 meter above the platform where you are landing. And in case of the water, chances of water coming in the excavator pits, it has to be dewatered immediately. In large scale excavations for the dams or huge buildings, the highways or any railways, etc., the accident occur mostly due to the vehicles or the dumpers or trucks. Therefore, such vehicles must be checked, and also the warning, sirens, horns or lights or signals, reverse alarm, all the rules for the driving should be enforced, and also sufficient lighting should be provided for the night works. Then demolition. So demolition, that will happen. The demolition of very old, life-ended, weak or unsafe construction becomes necessary. So when we'll do demolition, whenever the structure becomes old, whenever the structure becomes weakened, or whenever the structure is illegal. In those cases, we will demolish that specific building. Sometimes it is required for the new construction, alteration, or addition, or repair, or some at the same site. High risk is involved due to the falling or flying materials, working at height, or structure being broken, and use of heavy hand tools, and also heavy blows or vibration or sudden collapse. Not only the workers but also the public or passing by have also to be protected. Sometimes what will happen, they use the detonators or explosive material for the demolition. In such case, we have to protect the people or nearby society. Okay. And also for the proper planning, permits, procedures, and all sequence of work, training of the workers, and also the safety supervision by the competent person, or some of the basic requirements. So we have to look for, we should follow the all the safety procedures or practices for the all the demolition activity. Now, a definite demolition procedure should be worked after the studying the entire structure and carrying out of a survey of the drawings and the lower bearing numbers and type of foundation walls, etc., and the chemical contents, if any, or previous use or structural problems, ground characteristics, condition of the roof trusses, and type of framing, and also the frame structures, equipments sensitive to noise or vibration and dust, etc., and radioactivity, utility or service lines, gas or power lines, joined with or effect or any adjacent building, climate conditions, etc., and help of a structural engineer is advisable. So we have to assess for the condition of the structure, also the weak portion of the structure, any materials which are stored or any chemicals are stored inside the building. All these things has to be assessed before starting of the demolition. And a method of demolition should be formulated by the above survey, and also record the method of statement after the identifying the problems and their solutions. And all electric, gas, water, and other service lines should be shut off and also safely protect against the damage. And also the plant building should be isolated from the all the other plants and the buildings. For the protection of the public, all the roads and also open area surrounding the work, it should be fenced off at least 2 meters height. And a caution board and also the danger signs should be displayed in the local language, Hindi and English, and the other local language which is where the site is present, and also the permanent places. And unauthorized entry into the site shall be effectively controlled. We should not allow any persons in the site without any authorization. And if the swing ball, it is used, swing ball will show in the following slide how it works. To be used in demolition, the width of the safety zone should be at least 1.5 times the height of the structure. And it is a clamshell bucket is to be used for demolition. Safety zone of 8 meters from the line of travel, or the bucket should be maintained. It is about how it works. Then only trained workers we have to allow should be employed. New or skilled may cause the more accidents. And they should wear helmet, safety belt, and safety shoes or safety goggles and gloves. And a part of which would be destroy the stability of the other parts should not be demolished. And to prevent the danger of the structure should be adequately shored and also braced, otherwise supported. And the foundation wall serving the retaining walls to support the earth and also adjoining structure should be demolished until the joining structures has been underpinned, and also the braced of the earth moving supports by the sheet piling or sheltering. So it is any adjacent buildings which are there, so those has to be supported. Where the deliberate controlling collapse technique is to be used, expert engineering advice should be obtained. In the sense, deliberate means exactly from there within the point it will get demolished, like using the detonators. And also it should be used only the enough surrounding space is available to withdraw men and the equipment for a safe distance, and structure not carried in the design load by the pre-weakened before a deliberate collapse. But in such cases, a pre-weakening should be carefully planned, and also dead load should be reduced systematically. So pre-weakening in the sense they used to use certain sort of chemicals, and also they reduce the dead load of the building, then they'll start demolition. When equipment such as power shovels or bulldozers are used for the demolition, a type of the building is its dimensions and also the power of the equipment should be considered. You're using any manual. This is the traditional demolition method, and this is the swing ball or the volley. So it will get throw the ball for the demolition of the building. Now we'll see what are the health and welfare systems to be followed in the this thing. Now we'll see the with respect to the health. There are dust hazards, which is silicosis. Silicosis is the one of the notifiable occupational disease. One second. This is the one of the occupational disease. The size of the particle will be 0.5 to 3 micron, causes the fibrotic changes and also the modulation with both the lungs and also shortness of breath and decreased chest expansion and reduced capacity of the work, and also in the advanced case impairment of the total lung capacity. The effect is irreversible and also no effective treatment is available. It is of notifiable and also the compensatable disease under the law. Okay. The effect of exposure varies with the concentration of dust, time period, working conditions, body resistance, and also the control measures. This chest X-ray should be the chest X-ray shows the strong appearance in the lung field, but it should be confirmed by a history of the prolonged exposure. So if you see, you can show any strong kind of thing or some portion of the lung so that we can understand that he is affected by the dust. The symptoms of dry cough, dyspnea, chest tightness, and also difficulty in breathing. Regular medical examination of the workers and also engineering controls to minimize the exposure or necessary. Also movement of material and men. So that in construction material they have a heavy and also long varying size of pose hazards in handling. The loading, unloading, transportation of metals, they use railways or motor trucks or tractors and trailers, and also used depending on the weight and size of the distance to be traveled, and also the training of handling of such materials, and also the use of lifting appliances for them is a basic requirement. So it will have different variety of metals in different sizes and different shapes, and also different weights. So based on the material, you should have a specific plan. For some general precautions, for the selection of transportation by railway wagons, a route should be surveyed, and also the material should be not fall any fixed structure or object or any other wagon while negotiating or bend or any turn. And also the material should not be projected outside the height of should not be reached, and electromagnetic field of overhead transition line, and the railway rule should be followed. If you are using any motor trucks, must have valid RTO permits and also efficient brakes, lights, and also horn, and the side and reverse signals, jacks and tools, and they should be in good working condition. And only trained and also licensed drivers should drive, and also not the helpers or cleaners. While driving an ethylene oxide tanker by the cleaner, it was dashed against the structure, resulting into the breakage, and the main valve and also the whole factory shed and also tanker were burned into the ashes. So it is about operating the trucks by the unauthorized people. That's where all the trainings comes in, the awareness comes in, the importance comes in on the training part. Drivers should strictly follow the speed limit or on highways and also inside any factory premises, and they should observe utmost care while turning and overtaking or crossing the railway levels, and crossing the applying brakes, and they should have a trump card, and while carrying the hazardous chemicals. Trump card is the transport emergency card. It will be giving the details about the complete chemical with respect to the handling and the firefighting and first aid in case of people exposed with that chemical. And the transport vehicle should not be overloaded. No material should be projected above or beyond the side panels, and a backward projection should not be more than the meter, and bending bars or rods should not touch the road, and liquid should not be leaking. Lime, cement, gravels or any dust material should not be thrown continuous dust. That's why in case of any truck or dust which is going, they used to cover with the mats, or they used to cover with the tarpaulin to avoid the exposure of the dust. And material should be properly loaded, considering the weight, dimension, center of gravity of the load, and the carrier capacity, safety distance, and also working clearance. Load should be properly packed and also lashed. In rainy season, waterproof cover should be provided. And men should not be sit on the load or side panels of the driver cabins, and they should not walk on the moving vehicles. If you see health and welfare in for the construction workers, the occupational health and also disease relating to the construction work are mainly dust hazards, which is silicosis, which we have seen on previous slide. Sidrosis due to the iron dust in the sense for the welders, especially the welders, they will affect with the sidrosis because of iron or metal fumes. Anthracosis due to the coal dust and also cement. Pneumonicosis due to the cement dust. Noise and vibration, heat and humidity, electricity, hazardous chemicals, work at height and also depth in a confined space, material handling, lifting, machinery, transport vehicles, radiation hazards, biological hazards, etc. The first aid boxes and also occupational health services at the workplace or nearby are the most desirable. We have to make sure that we have proper first aid facility near the site. I think it is a repetition. Yeah. Sidrosis. Sidrosis is caused by the inhalation of iron dust and also electric arc welding, dry grinding of the iron or buffing, polishing, or also short blasting, and produce this iron dust. Its latter causes a serious symptom unless there is a coexisting silicosis. Now, anthracosis, the coal workers or pneumonicosis is caused by the inhalation of coal dust. Foundry workers, coal handlers, a couple of coolies, and also boilermen, furnacemen, railway firemen, graphite workers, etc., are exposed to the coal dust. And the first phase requires about 12 years of work and causes a little ventilatory impairment, but the second phase causes a progressive massive fibrosis and resulting into the severe respiratory disability and tending into the death. Fibrosis in the sense the lung is not able to expand to the required level, resulting those lung muscle got damage. The engineering controls includes the method of elimination or minimization of dust exposure, local exhaust ventilation, and cyclone dust collectors or unit dust collectors, electrostatic respirators, and substitution of wet grinding for the dry grinding, and hydroblasting for the sandblasting, built-in devices with the grinding, and also polishing machines, etc., are generally used, and they should be maintained in good working conditions. A worker should wear a dust mask, respirators, and also eye protection. And apart from this, their medical monitoring also is very much required to understand the level of exposure and appraisal of the dust generating places, and also the processes, area monitoring, and also analysis. Medical examination including X-ray and also spotness test, lung function test, and also clinical tests are required to assess the exposure. And apart from that, we'll have noise and vibration, being we use different kinds of equipments and different capacities of equipments in construction industry, resulting that the workers and employees, they used to expose to the noise and vibration. Crushers, grinders, compressors, heavy lifting machinery in construction industry causes high noise. Continuously working near such high noise causing a hearing loss and deafness, or change in the heart rate, blood pressure, sweat rate, and also work performance. So because of exposure to the noises, your performance also will come down. And also physiological and also psychomotor effect, and high frequencies are more serious than the low frequencies. The noise level should be kept below 90 decibels by using the quietest machineries and processes. Enclosure and also silencers. If this is not possible, the worker should be given the earplugs or earmuffs of good quality. And also we can also suggest the what do you call enough rest intervals between the working hours. Then first aid and health services. So at all the work sites, the first aid boxes are containing prescribed medicines or antidotes, and equipments are most essential. Trained first aiders should be employed, and they should be proficient in the use of resuscitation, like doing CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, and also life-saving techniques in the rescue procedure. And necessary equipment, including the stretcher, should be readily available. All the workers should be subject to health surveillance. A work area monitoring should be carried out. Health service should be available at a workplace nearby. Then these are some of the OC requirements with respect to the building and other construction workers roles. Then welfare facilities. With respect to the welfare near the work site, adequate supply of drinking water, sanitary and washing facilities, or showers, change or cloth room, lunch rooms or canteen, restroom or shelters, facilities for food and also drink, and suitable living accommodation should be available to the workers. The size and number of such facilities may vary according to the number of workers, and where the necessary separate facilities should be provided for the male and female workers in case of females also working in the site. Okay. With this, we have done this session. If you have any questions, we can discuss. And we have one dedicated paper with respect to construction safety, which is IS 108. There we'll have detailed discussion about this chapter. Any questions? Okay. Thanks for joining today. We'll see you in the next class. Thank you. Bye. Happy weekend.